Dr. Marshall Lewis here, Music and Medicine. Excited to be celebrating with the Hollywood and Vine Recovery Center because they're raising funds for people who are in need and in recovery. And here with Petri Byrd, what made you want to support this cause and come out tonight?
Wow. Well, first of all, because it has to do with recovery and it has to do with, giving back to the community and everything, that's an automatic for me.
Absolutely.
But then that it had to do with the arts,
right?
And the role that the arts plays in not just recovery, but in life period.
Absolutely.
Hard to resist.
Sure. So healing. Now, so few people really appreciate how great a singer you are. When did you really start honing your voice and sort of pursuing that talent seriously? Because everywhere I go, I hear you singing.
My first experience singing, of course, was at home. It was encouraged at home. There was, as I recall, there was always music playing in our house. My father was a jazz aficionado, so he liked Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald and Billy Eckstine, Count Basie, and Duke Ellington. My mother was more an R&B aficionado, so she liked everything that was happening during the 60s, which is particularly the era that I most remember, growing up with the music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But the 60s were what introduced me to music, the Motown sound, Stax, James Brown and all the people, I don't know why James Brown just came to mind, but but there were so many, Marvin Gaye and Dinah Washington and Nancy Wilson and the groups, the Supremes, the Shirelles, who else? The Temptations, the Stylistic, Harold Milton and the Blue Notes, you name it, man.
Exactly.
There was a plethora, of great talent that was bestowed upon us during those decades, and I just latched on because that love for music, and the singing part came in trying to emulate all the singers I heard, including the female singers. So I got exactly what Luther Vandross was saying, when his three favorites, I think, were Diana Ross, Dionne Warwick, and who was the other one? Aretha Franklin. So yeah, I could fully appreciate, man. Even if you didn't have a decent soprano voice or contralto voice, that was all right. That's when you went to your falsetto.
Sure, right, exactly. You could bring it out. So what can we hope to hear tonight? What's some of your specialties, some people you really love emulating?
Well, here's the thing. Tonight, I'm dedicating my song to my granddaughter.
Okay.
I got a granddaughter that she's 2 years old and she doesn't particularly like me at this point, but that's because she's not around me a whole lot.
And you're tall.
And and I'm tall. That's right. Automatically it's like, this teddy bear ain't working right. But there's a song that I sang to her over the Christmas holiday that kind of won my favor with her. She smiled at the end and she kind of patted me on the head and said, "Okay, old man, you'll do. I'll call you Papa for the time being." So it's an old Sesame Street song. Man.
Okay.
And, I'm gonna see if the crowd can get into it. It's a simple song. It's an informative song, as many Sesame Street songs are. But it's fun, as many Sesame Street songs are.
Absolutely, sure. And this comedic side, so few people also appreciate it, but something about you that I love, and we're always going back and forth and whatnot, carrying on. Where does it stem from? Did you just feel like, I got to be myself, I got to be true?
Listen, man, I grew up with the great comedians of yesteryear. First of all, I love movies, so Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, the Three Stooges, were my main go-tos in terms of TV and film. But of course, my introduction to real stand-up comedy was Flip Wilson,
Yeah.
Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, when I could get it.
Sure.
When we could sneak in the basement and play it.
Right.
I just always have had a love for comedy. And it always amazes me that people that don't know me
Right.
think that I'm the most stern guy
Yes,
in the world
exactly.
because of standing next to Judge Judy,
Right.
very stoic,
Right, all those-
but all my friends who know me like, that guy's a nut. Don't give him a microphone.
Exactly.
He ain't never met what he didn't like.
There's a reason they want him to be serious.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I love, and then I've always done impersonations,
Yes.
so doing Rodney and Cos and all these guys, man, that was another fun thing about my personality.
Sure.
Was that I would always, even when I was a court officer, I'd go out and call the cases
Sure.
in different voices,
So-
I go, geez, party's on, Roderick Louise British, suppovated it, step forward, and people would come up and go, hey, where's the Archie Bunker guy? Where's the white dude?
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Get your ass in.
Exactly. Absolutely. You also have been very forthcoming and honest in sharing this journey that you've been through with your wife, getting over cancer and things like that. Talk to us about how important that was to sort of share that experience and things like that, because so many people can relate, and it's really a lot to sort of open those things up to the public.
Well, she first discovered that she had a brain tumor in 2021, in March of 2021, and she had a seizure, her first and only seizure, thank God, so far, and that's when they discovered a quail egg-sized tumor on the left frontal lobe of her brain. Subsequently, she had surgery in April of that year to remove it. The doctor was able to remove 90% of it, 90 to 95% of it, and the rest she went through chemo and radiation. Has passed that with flying colors, except for some minor complications due to radiation necrosis. The radiation attacking the good cells as well as the bad cells.
Right.
You know about that. But she managed to, because of her youthful age, and because of what doctors want to bottle, has a great attitude. She's got it. She told cancer, she was like John Wayne, like, get out of here, cancer. We got things to do.
Right.
And I don't know why we got John Wayne out of that, but yeah, that attitude, that positive attitude, and mixed with science, medical science and everything, helped to bring her to, she's almost fully back from her bout with cancer, and so far, thank God, the MRIs show that she is progressing perfectly. Her oncologist is very happy with her progress.
Sure. No, absolutely.
As are we.
Right. Absolutely. All of us.
Before I mess around and mess this up,
Right.
First things first.
Sure.
First things first.
No, absolutely.
All praises due to God for this healing.
Sure. No, absolutely. You all have been so, like I said, forthcoming and willing to share it, and we've been able to walk on that journey with you, and just imagine if we only could that someone we know that close and something so shocking and surprising. And then, holding hands together throughout the whole process of being there is just really, I think, important for us to see. And we've always been there.
I want to say that we definitely appreciate all the support, the love, and the prayers of all our friends and those around the world who don't know her personally, but know her, by way of our podcast and everything. And it's been wonderful. The outpour of love has been astounding.
Absolutely. And where can we continue to find you and keep up with all the things you're up to?
You can find me at home, man. I got things to do. No. Right now, I'm on a new court show called Tribunal Justice,
Yes.
which is on Amazon Freevee.
Wow.
I got an upcoming project coming up called the Sterling Affairs, about the whole Donald Sterling and Clippers fiasco.
Right.
And that's starring Lawrence Fishburne and Ed O'Neill.
Excellent.
And that should be premiering hopefully in June.
Sure.
The other place is always Byrd, B-Y-R-D, Byrd the Bailiff, on Instagram, and Petri Hawkins Byrd on Facebook.
Sure.
And this X thing, I have no idea.
Sure. Right. It's like we're still talking about that.
I ain't talking, I ain't picking,
right.
I ain't talking.
Exactly. Absolutely. Always a pleasure. Always willing to give us time. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Where I go, you support me. Thank you.
All the
Appreciate
best,
it.
man.
Absolutely.